to another session on accent litigation. My name is Oluwatosin Isaac, and I'm here again to bring you and for us to discuss another interesting topic as is the norm, as we usually do. Okay, so today we'll be discussing marriage under the Nigerian law. Marriage under the Nigerian law. Before I continue, don't forget to like all our social media pages, leave a comment, share, tell us what you've learned so far, give us feedback. We really appreciate your feedback. So for today, we were talking about marriage under the Nigerian law. We all know what marriage is, right? Should I start defining what marriage is? Okay, marriage is the union between a man and a woman to become husband and wife. I mean, that definition has been since primary school, and I think it has just stick. Yes, marriage is when a man and a woman comes together and they become husband and wife. Now, the concept of marriage is very lovely. I mean, most people want to get married. Most people look forward to having the man, the woman of their dreams, and starting forever together, right? So definitely it's a good one. It's a good one. But like a maxim, there's a law maxim that says that where there is no law, there is no wrong. So it means that even in marriage, we have laws that regulate it. Because if there are no laws put in place, if there are no guidelines, people just do whatever they please. Everybody will just do whatever. I mean, there's no law, there's no wrong. It is the law that states that this is right, this is wrong. And if there's no law, then there's no wrong. I mean, there's nothing to checkmate or to make me accountable that what I am doing is wrong. So, as much as we have the law regulating different aspects of our life, finances, business, just name it, defense and the rest like that, so also we have laws regulating marriage. Yes, we have the legislation put in place that regulate marriage. So I said the popular definition that we all know marriage as is the union between a man and a woman, right? Marriage, yes, coming together to become husband and wife. So in Nigeria, we have two recognized marriage in Nigeria. I know we've been taught in our primary schools, in our secondary schools. Okay, we have 4 types of marriage: Islamic marriage, religious marriage, traditional marriage, church marriage or church wedding. Or yes, they taught me that also. But basically, and according to the law, there are just 2 kinds of marriage. We have customary marriage and we have the marriage under the act. We have the customary marriage, or what you can call traditional marriage. Customary, traditional, of course, it's not like the same thing. So we have customary marriage and we have the marriage under the act. Now, marriage is a very broad topic. I mean, it's very, very broad. So we'll be taking it step by step. Just let's flow. Let's enjoy let's enjoy the process. Let's enjoy the flow. Let's enjoy the series like that. So we'll be dividing it into series bit by bit to explain or to deal with issues one after the other. So today we'll just be talking about the customary marriage and all you need to know about the customary marriage. Then next week we'll talk about the marriage under the act and other things you need to know about marriage under the law generally. So I said there are 2 recognized types of marriage under the law that the law recognizes, and that is customary marriage and the marriage under the act. So today we'll be looking at customary marriage. Now, I said customary has to do with tradition. When you hear something customary, it's customary for people to do this. It is the practice, it is the norm, it is the custom, the tradition. You understand? So when we hear customary marriage, it's just talking about the marriage that is contracted according to the native law and customs of a particular ethnic group. In Nigeria, we don't have 1 ethnic group, we don't have 2 ethnic groups, we don't have 3 ethnic groups, we have lots of ethnic groups. And each ethnic group have their customs, their traditions, their norm, everything that binds them. Now, some customs and tradition might be similar. I mean, it might be similar, but this is still their custom and tradition. It is still their custom. Yoruba have their own, Igbos have their own, Hausa have their own, the have their own. Different ethnic group with different customs and tradition. So any marriage conducted according to a particular ethnic group, according to their customs, their tradition, their rules, their regulation, it is a customary marriage. We know it popularly as traditional marriage. We use that, traditional marriage, traditional marriage. Yes, traditional marriage is recognized under the Nigerian law. It is even in the Marriage Act. Two recognized marriages, traditional marriage and the marriage under the Act. So when you see people wearing their traditional attire and they are going to go and pay homage or bring this thing, it is recognized by the law. Yes, in Nigeria. So when we say that, now remember I said that we don't have, we have different ethnic group. So it means we don't have a specific customary law. I don't know if you understand. We have different ethnic groups. Each ethnic group have their own custom and tradition that binds them. So it means that we don't have a specific standard, like, okay, this is how customary marriage is supposed to look like. No. Everybody has his or her own, or every ethnic group has its own custom, its own tradition that they follow. So it means that when we talk about customary marriage, we are not looking at just one type of stereotype type of marriage, that this is how customary marriage is. No, we have different traditions, so it means we have different types of customary marriages, as long as you are following the rules, the native laws and custom of that ethnic group. You know, most of these rules and laws is not written. Now, the constitution, for instance, of Nigeria is a written law. It is binding on every citizen of the country. It applies to everybody. It applies to everybody. But let's look at the Yoruba custom, for instance. It is Yoruba custom that a lady is meant to kneel, go on her knee when she wants to greet the elder. While for the male, they are supposed to, lie flat. That is a custom, right? That is a tradition. But it's not applicable to everybody. Why? Because everybody is not Yoruba. Everybody is not Yoruba. So it cannot apply to someone that is Igbo, for instance. So these customs and traditions, they are not written. They are not binding on everybody. They are just binding to that particular set of people, that particular ethnic group. That is why, since we have different ethnic groups in Nigeria, we don't have a standard way of how a customary marriage should be. This is Yoruba way, this is Igbo way, this is the Hausa way, this is the Yoruba way, this is the TIV way, like that. Yes, but not a stereotype static way. Why? Because we don't have them written. It is not written. It is an unwritten norms, unwritten regulation that is binding on just a specific set of people. So I just hope I've been able to pass that across. So let's continue. So you understand right now. I'm sure you are getting the picture, because you've experienced customary marriages. You've gone for traditional marriages where you put on your ashoebi, you put on your native attire, your regalia, and you are fully dressed and you attend marriages like that, and it's a beautiful sight, really. It's a beautiful sight, and the major thing we have to understand that it is recognized in the Nigerian law. The Nigerian law recognizes. So we've explained that customary marriage is the marriage contracted according to the native law and custom of a particular set of people. It is not uniform. It is not. There's no standard way, because we have divergent customary laws. We have divergent customary norms and cultures and traditions like that. So we don't have one specific type of customary marriage. So let's look at the requirements for a customary marriage to be valid. Yes, I said that we don't have we don't have a static or a stereotype customary marriage because we have different laws and different customs, different customary laws, and native laws, norms, regulations that bind the specific people. However, there are some basic things that are needed regardless of your culture or your tradition or whatever practices, how your marriage is being conducted. Regardless of how it is, there are some sacrosanct requirements that is very, very important for the law to recognize that truly this marriage is valid. First is the age. Yes, the law looks at the age of the parties. The law looks at the age of the parties. Now, there is no age under the customary law. That's okay, fine. According to the customary law, why? Now I told you we don't have one customary law. We have different customary law for different people. So, in as much as there is no specific age to marry under customary law, we can rely on the Child Rights Act that says that was puberty. For a child to be an adult is 18 years, according to the Child Rights Act, 18 years. So we can put 18 years as the age fixed for marriage. You can just put it as 18 years. 18 years is the age where the law recognizes that, okay, this person is an adult. So the age of puberty, age of puberty, because, puberty, there is no specific age of puberty. I mean, some people begin their puberty as early as age of 13, even 12. I've seen 12, 13, 14. So there is no specific age like that. But according to the Child Rights Act, we go for 18 years. 18 years is the recognized age for marriage, because at that time, the law recognizes that such person is an adult. So after the age, we have the consent of the parents. It is tradition. This is Africa, and it is tradition. This is Africa. This is Nigeria. Let me use our accent. This is Nigeria. So, parents, consent of the parents, very important. Very, 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 very important. Very important. Very important. I mean, I'm emphasizing this because you want to do your wedding, you want to do your customary marriage. Because customary marriage is where the families meet. So that customary marriage is more like, it's the families that are getting married. You are joining two families together. So your parents are the ones that will go and inform their people that, hey, my child wants to get married, my child has brought a husband, my child has brought a wife, my child wants to get married. So they're not going to inform the family. So that's why you need the consent of your, very important. I mean, okay, let's even say that you want to dispense with the consent of the groom's parents. Probably you can dispense with that. But the consent of the bride's parents, no way. Why? Because it is the bride's parents that conduct the wedding. You are the one coming to come and get a wife. They are the ones that it is in their place they organize the wedding. So if you don't have the consent of your parents as a lady or as a girl, whose house do you want to hold the wedding? Do you understand? So traditionally, that's why it's the custom is that the consent of the parents is very, very important. You cannot dispense with that. Let's say you want to dispense with the consent of the groom, that's the male, but for the female, no, you cannot. The family is the one that receives the dowry. That's the bride price, right? So if you don't have the consent of the parents, who will receive the dowry or the bride price? So you see why it's very, very important. So the consent, that is another requirement for a valid customary marriage. To say, yes, so I've done the right thing, I followed the right way, the parties are of age, we receive consent of both parents. Very important. In fact, if you receive the consent of both parents, it is the best. Now the consent of the parties, it's the husband and the wife, or the husband to be and the wife to be. Their consent is also very, very important. It's also very, very important. I mean, they should be able to express themselves that, okay, fine, I chose this person, I want to marry this person. This is the person I actually chose to marry. So, very important also. Then, we have the bride price. Yes, bride price. Bride price differ. There is no specific amount. Okay, fine, this is the bride price to pay. No. I mean, I think family negotiates this thing. I think they do negotiate, right? I'm not married, so I don't really know. Like, but believe they negotiate it. There's families come together. It's okay, fine. This is what we want you to pay as the bride price. Then I'm sure gifts, they bring gifts also. It's ceremony, it's tradition. Tradition requires that you pay the bride price. And of course, this Nigeria, in this part of the world, it is the male, the groom family that pays the bride price to the female's family. So it is very, very essential. I mean, the bride price is more of what legalized the marriage. Oh, I paid bride price. You see men boasting, I paid your bride price. I paid your bride price. You understand? So I think that bride price is what legalizes the whole thing. It just seals it off. I've paid the bride price. I did it. I followed the right way. I did it well. So when you pay the bride price, that is another requirement. You know that you've done what is required for you to boast and claim that, yes, I have a valid marriage. So it's not just about just picking somebody and just throwing the person in your house. No. You have to follow the due process. The parents have to be aware. Families have to be aware. You do the needful. You carry out whatever they ask you to do. And before you are definitely handed to your wife. Which, of course, lastly, is the ceremony. The ceremony itself. The ceremony is when officially they hand over the girl or the female or the woman to the man as his wife. Now, different traditions with different, oh God, it's so interesting to watch, really. I mean, it's a beautiful side. We have different traditions, different ceremonies, how they normally do their own wedding. For the Yoruba, I know that the guy will come at Dobale, they will Dobale with his fellow groomsmen like that. They will come at Dobale like that. Then, did you marry? Did you just ask some questions like that, like that, like that, like that, like that? That is the Yoruba tradition. I think the Igbo tradition is that they will give the lady a cup of palm wine, right? And they'll give her, go and give your husband, and your husband will be seated in the midst of, in a crowd, the audience. So they'll go and give, she'll be looking for her, she'll carry the palm wine, she'll be dancing, she'll dance, she'll look for her husband to be. And I think some other men will be calling her, it's me, it's me, it's me. It's very beautiful to watch. And there are other traditions. So if you are watching this right now, I want you to drop a comment on how, according to your customs, your traditions, how is it done? How did they conduct the ceremony for a customary marriage? I've explained Yoruba, I've explained Igbo. So if you know more, you can just drop it. Like, just drop a comment there and let us learn. Let us learn. Just state your tribe, state your ethnic group, and explain how it's done. The whole ceremony of a thing, the handing over of the wife, like that. So we'll be waiting. We want to learn. So the bride price and the ceremony. So if these things are done, then we can say that we have a valid customary marriage. Now, there's one thing to know. The last point I will raise is this. There's one thing to note. One thing to note about customary marriage is that there is no limit to the number of wives a man can marry. I mean, that is why it is customary marriage. The mere fact that he has one wife does not affect his right or capacity to have more wives. So customary marriage is potentially polygamous, that it gives the man the right. If he does the right thing again and wants to take another wife, he can go through the same process as stated earlier, and he will actually get a wife customarily. So if a man wishes to have more wife, the fact that he contracted or he started with a customary marriage, he can continue like that and keep having more wife as he pleases. However, the Islamic law just puts him in the maximum of 4 wives. According to the Islamic law places just 4 wives a man can have. So I hope you've learned something. Drop a comment, leave a question. If you have questions, you can drop it. That is it. But don't forget that customary marriage is recognized by the Nigerian law. It is a valid marriage. You don't need to, if the only thing you do is get the consent of your parents, you do the needful according to what I've explained, you are validly and legally married. Validly and legally married. But of course, you should know that customary marriage is polygamous in nature. It means that a man can marry more than one wife. You should know that also. So I've come to the end of today's session. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to like, share the YouTube channel, follow us, and subscribe. Subscribe to our page as we bring you more topics as regards the law and we learn from it. My name is Oluwatosin Isaac, and I will see you next week as we continue this interesting topic. Bye for now.